A warning for parents in the Battle Creek area as the search is on for a man that may have tried to abduct a child. Latest incident happened Friday in Emmett Township at Waddles Park Elementary. The Department of Public Safety says a 9-year-old was walking into school when a suspect asked the child to get into a vehicle. The child refused and continued into the school. That's when police say the suspect drove away in a dark-colored pickup truck. Last Sunday, a similar incident happened just 4 miles away at Piper Park when police say there were reports of an attempted abduction of a 3-year-old girl. That's when police were able to create this sketch from information given to them by the 3-year-old's babysitter. The man is described as an older man with long gray hair. We're told he has a beard and was wearing glasses at the time. Police say there appear to be similarities between the suspect in both cases. Anyone with information is asked to give Emmett Township Department of Public Safety a call. The number is there at the bottom of your screen. You may have remembered seeing the protests. It's a story that got national attention. Now, just weeks after the so-called wrecking ball was removed from the Grand Valley State University campus, there's talk of it coming back. The school's newspaper, the Lanthorn, reports that GVSU officials plan to return it to its original spot on the Allendale campus with a few minor modifications to make things safer. The pendulum was removed a couple of weeks ago for what were called safety reasons after a number of students posted videos of them online riding or maybe not riding the ball. They, of course, poked fun at the Miley Cyrus video. Right now, there is no exact timeline when the wrecking ball will return, but we'll be sure to let you know when it does that. For the second time in 2 months, there's been a skydiving accident near the Hastings Airport. The latest one occurred Saturday afternoon. First responders were sent to the intersection of State Road and Airport Road. Barry County Dispatch tells Fox 17 that a woman had to be taken to a local hospital, but there was no information given out on her condition. In August, you may remember, there was another skydiving accident near that airport. During that one, a 40-year-old man from Lansing was able to open his chute but didn't have control of it when he hit the ground. He did survive.
And the Detroit Tigers punching their postseason ticket earlier this week.
Now we know who, when, and where they're going to be playing. It's a rematch with the Oakland Athletics. Everything starts on Friday on the West Coast. The Tigers won last year's ALDS meeting 3-2. This season, the A's have looked tough against the Tigers, winning the season series 4-3, including taking 3 of 4 last month, including that one against Justin Verlander. The games that will be in Detroit went on sale earlier this week on the Tiger website. Those tickets did. Potential ALCS tickets will be available starting on Wednesday. Remember, the Division Series games are on TBS, while the ALCS and World Series are right here on Fox 17.
Only a few hours left until we find out the top 10 finalists in this year's Art Prize competition. The announcement will be made by Art Prize founder Rick DeVos at 1 this afternoon. If you want to find out who makes the top 10, the announcement will be at Rosa Parks Circle in downtown Grand Rapids. So far, more than 429,000 votes have been cast in just round 1 of this year's competition. Voting for round 2 opens at 2 this afternoon. But be careful with your vote. Once the top 10 is announced, you can only vote for one in this year's competition, and which could ultimately be the winner. And on the heels of that announcement, an artist saying their top 25 piece was vandalized early Saturday morning. The setup for the documentary United States and Everyday People project was found in disarray. The information table, along with the flyers discussing the film's topics, were found all over that tent. Chairs were knocked over and the water barrels that held down the tent were emptied out into some of the artist's equipment. But it sounds like they got everything set back up for yesterday.
Absolutely. All right, it is 9 minutes after 7. The investigation into the deaths of 19 firefighters is continuing. Hear why family members say more could have been done and what happened in the final moments for those firefighters.
And Kate Upton is moving on up while she's making the move to the Big Apple around 5:20 in your entertainment reports.
Fox 17 weather is brought to you by Waterworks Car.
And they help you navigate what one might be a good fit for you.
And a lot of people are doing this because they want to have a little extra money, but they also want to do something that fulfills them more than their first career.
Absolutely. They want to reinvent themselves. They want something with greater flexibility.
Licenses for Michigan's first ever wolf hunt almost sold out on day 1. Only a handful of licenses remain after going on sale yesterday at noon. The cap for the hunt is set at 1,200 licenses. The hunt will take place in the Upper Peninsula from November 15th to December 31st. The Department of Natural Resources is hoping to harvest 43 wolves in order to bring the population down. Once that number is reached, the hunt will be over. You have until the licenses sell out or until Halloween to buy one. They're $100 for Michigan residents. All right, thank you, Kelly. Crews are on the scene of a house fire in Hastings this morning. It's in the 3000 block of William F. Hayes Drive. There are multiple units on the scene. We will have an update from our crew who is on their way there in just a few minutes. The Kent County Sheriff's Department needs your help finding a missing man. Glenn Baird is missing from his home in the 3400 block of 84th Street Southwest. Baird is 79 years old, hasn't been seen or heard from since Wednesday after going to a doctor's appointment. That appointment was near 64th Street Southwest and Byron Center Avenue around 1 p.m. Family members say Baird needs medication and they don't think he has it with him. He's described as 5 feet 9 inches tall, slim, with gray hair and brown eyes. Family members don't know what he was last wearing, but they believe he's driving his teal green Chevy 2500 pickup with a standard cab. It has a license plate 5GH-H55. If you've seen Glenn Baird, please call the Kent County Sheriff's Department. You mentioned a fine grind, and I've had the debate. I've been told that not only was I using not enough coffee when I make it at home, but I wasn't grinding it myself. Is that a big difference?
Yeah, grind size is a huge thing.
Sarah, there's been a lot of talking at each other, but yesterday evening, President Obama and congressional leaders met and talked with each other at the White House. Everything seems to be focused on Obamacare, of course. The president and Democrats want to keep it. Republicans, led most vocally by the Tea Party wing in the House, want it delayed or out altogether of the plans they submit. The meeting lasted about an hour yesterday, and though Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said it was unproductive, others at least appeared cordial afterwards. The president said it was useful. House Speaker John Boehner called it polite conversation, with House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi sounding the most optimistic.
So much is at stake. I'm hopeful that in the conversation we heard each other and that we will be able to find a place to go, as the leader suggests, to the budget table 6 months after we were supposed to, in order to discuss the budget that can be helpful, because the next challenge is lifting the debt ceiling.
And that's a big challenge. The deadline to raise the debt ceiling is October 17th. If nothing is done there, the government will not be able to pay its bills. And effects of the government shutdown are being felt here in West Michigan, specifically the housing market. Although there are plenty of people willing to buy homes right now, because federal agencies are closed, mortgage companies aren't able to check things like tax documents.
One of the things lenders do is verify a borrower's income by getting tax transcripts from the IRS. And right now the IRS is shut down, so we don't have the ability to verify that income. So if you're in the process of getting your loan and a lender hasn't already requested the 4506T, which is the tax transcripts, they'll be unable to close your loan.
Now, the lender we spoke with said he's not discouraging people from making an offer on a house, but says if they do, they should be ready to wait a while to get financing. Live in the studio, Tim Doty, Fox 17 News. Kalamazoo County man who pleaded guilty to killing his wife will find out how much time he'll spend behind bars tomorrow. John Kovac pled guilty to second-degree murder earlier this month. As part of his plea deal, he's expected to spend between 18 and 30 years behind bars. He also pleaded guilty to a felony firearm charge. His wife, Nancy Kovac, was shot dead in their home in Comstock Township back on June 17th. Their kids testified in court earlier this summer.
Oh, grandma's, I just shot your mom.
What sort of things do you say?
I did her family a favor.
Again, that sentencing tomorrow in Kalamazoo County. Police need your help this morning finding the man they say is responsible for an assault in Gaines Township. Deputies say they're looking for a man who looks like this. Last Saturday, 3 teenage girls were walking along the 1200 block of 60th Street Southeast when they say the man approached them, even picked one of them up off the ground. She hit him, though, and he put her down. The group then ran to a nearby house and called police. It's unknown where the guy went. He is described as being between 30 and 40, around 6 feet tall, balding with glasses. If you have any information, call police or Silent Observer. You see that number on your screen. 3 charges are being filed against a teenager from West Michigan after a stabbing earlier this week in Ada Township. 17-year-old Samuel King is now charged with assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder. carrying a dangerous weapon, and carrying a concealed weapon. Investigators say he's also a habitual offender. King was arrested after the incident on Wednesday. He's currently being held in the Kent County Correctional Facility on $475,000 bond. He's due back in court later this month.